Okay, now that we know all of the different parts of the instrument, or we've gone over them, we're going to talk about some maintenance, and then also how to handle the instrument. All right. So the first thing I want to say is we have these 3 valves, and you probably have something in your kit called valve oil. All right. You're going to want to take that out, get your valve oil ready, and like I said, if you need to pause the tape, you're more than welcome to do so. Your valve oil is going to look different than my valve oil. I purchased a different kind than what you guys get. All right, so go ahead and pause the tape, get that valve oil. Okay, once you have your valve oil, what I want you to do is notice that there are 2 different parts to your valve. All right, we're gonna start with that first valve, which is the one that's gonna be closest to the mouthpiece. Now what you wanna do is you wanna take this part right here that's attached to the valve casing, and I want you to twist it counterclockwise, okay, or towards your left hand to open it. Once you have done that, go ahead and directly pull it up like so. And this is the inside of your valve. This is the thing that pushes up and down in order to make these little holes line up with different parts of the trumpet, and then it creates a higher or lower pitch depending on how tight or loose your lips are. All right. So one other note before we go ahead and oil that valve is the fact that they're very fragile. So you want to be very careful with those valves, including the valve casing, which is what we just pulled out of there. All right, there is only enough space for the valve itself to move up and down in the valve casing. So with that being said, when you're handling your trumpet, you don't want to hit the valve casing on anything, because if you dent the valve casing, then it's not going to allow the valve to go down or up. And then you can't play your trumpet until it comes back from the shop to get fixed. So be very careful when you're handling that, all right? Okay, so you're gonna set your trumpet down very carefully in a very safe spot. And then over like a trash can or your sink, you're going to hold your first valve, only take the first valve out. All right, and then you're gonna take your valve oil. I don't know if you can see this very well. You're going to put valve oil all over. Okay? Then once you do that, you can go ahead and put it directly back in, straight up and down, into the valve casing. If you notice it's difficult to put the valve back in, like it's getting stuck somehow, do not push it, okay? Take it back out and then twist it a little bit and then try to put it back in. You don't want to force anything in there. You might dent the casing, all right? So once you have done that, I want you to do, this is kind of a weird thing, all right? But sometimes the valves don't line up appropriately. The holes don't line up appropriately with the little spaces. So once you put your first valve in, I want you to touch the top right here, and I want you to twist it towards the right, all right? Twist it towards the right until you hear a little click, and it won't twist anymore, all right? Once you do that, push the valve up and down just to move that oil all over, and you should be good to go. Now, you can do the same thing for the rest of the valves, all right? So, but remember just to take one out at a time. I'm going to have you pause this video right now, and then I want you to finish doing your second valve and your third valve, and then putting them back in the proper spot. Okay, so one thing I also wanted to show you about the valves is, let's say that sometimes you do take them all out at the same time, and you get confused, like where do I put them? Which casing do I put them back in? On your trumpet valve somewhere, there's going to be a stamp that tells you what valve it is. So that says 2 right there. That tells you it's the second valve, the one that's pushed down by your middle finger. So it's going to go back in the second valve casing. And that's just a little tip in case you ever are not sure which valve goes back where. All right, I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to start a new one again because this one's getting a little bit long.